It has been a black week for bank customers, with today bringing the announcement of yet another round of branch closures, this time by Royal Bank of Scotland and NatWest. It came after Lloyds Banking Group, which also includes Halifax and Bank of Scotland, announced a wave of closures earlier this week, while Yorkshire Building Society also said it would close some branches. Taxpayer-owned RBS will shut 259 branches, so why are banks shutting their doors and why the sudden rush? Will your branch shut? See the full list of RBS and NatWest branches closing below. Taxpayer-owned Royal Bank of Scotland is closing 259 branches up and down the UK, claiming the move reflects the growing popularity of online banking. The closures will lead to 680 people losing their jobs, with the majority of closures set to be completed by the middle of next year. In total, 62 RBS and 197 NatWest branches will be axed, affecting around 1,000 members of staff, with some being redeployed to new roles and locations. Unite Union branded the closures a betrayal and slammed the government for allowing the closures to go ahead. Following in the wake of Lloyds and Yorkshire Building Society, RBS is the third big name this week to announce bank branch closures. RBS closures will mean 1 in 4 of its branches will disappear. An RBS spokesman said, "More and more of our customers are choosing to do their everyday banking online or on mobile. Since 2014, the number of customers using our branches across the UK has fallen by 40% and mobile transactions have increased by 73% over the same period." Over 5 million customers now use our mobile banking app and 1 in 5 only bank with us digitally. Another key reason behind RBS's decision is a desire to save money. The bank is desperately trying to get back into the black and stay there, following a series of disastrous years since it was bailed out during the financial crisis. It recorded a profit for the past 3 quarters and will hope that it is on the road back to better health. There has been plenty of tough rounds of cost-cutting at RBS, and as much as the bank can try to insulate customers from this, eventually it hits them. Branches are expensive to run, and cutting such a large number has the potential to save RBS considerable sums. Lloyds Banking Group revealed on Wednesday that it will close a further 49 bank branches across the UK. The Lloyds closures fall across the Lloyds Bank, Halifax and Bank of Scotland divisions, and will cost around 100 jobs. Lloyds has insisted that branches remain a key part of the service it offers. However, earlier this year the bank said it would shut down 100 branches as it swung the axe on 200 jobs. Customers are increasingly choosing to use digital and mobile channels for their everyday banking needs, a Lloyds spokesperson said. As a consequence, the number of customers visiting some of our branches has declined in recent years. In response to this, we have confirmed the locations of some branches which will close next year across Lloyds Bank, Halifax and Bank of Scotland. Under the YBS proposals, 8 RBS branded branches and up to 5 Norwich and Peterborough branded branches will close. The remaining N&P branches would be rebranded to Yorkshire Building Society from May next year. The RBS closures are part of a wider cost-cutting campaign, including the phased closure of its Cheltenham office, that could cost 250 jobs. But it is looking to boost the number of so-called agencies it runs across the country, which will see the same services offered in new locations. These see customers access Yorkshire services at small operations located in estate agency offices, solicitors or independent financial advisors. The group has assured customers that it plans to retain a presence in all of its towns and cities until at least 2020, and with planned agency openings, will have around 300 outlets across the UK. Mike Renier, Chief Executive of Yorkshire Building Society Group, said, "We believe these proposed changes are necessary for us to continue to grow and help more people to become homeowners and have a secure place for their savings." Union leaders have understandably been highly critical of the closures and job losses. Today, Unite union boss Rob McGregor said, "The Royal Bank of Scotland has decided to decimate its bank branch network." Now serious questions need to be asked about whether these closures mark the end of branch network banking. This announcement will forever change the face of banking in this country, resulting in over 1,000 staff losing their jobs and hundreds of high streets without any banking facilities. Why is the government signing off this alarming branch closure program? Meanwhile, on Wednesday he also took aim at the Lloyds closures. He said, "Lloyds Banking Group needs to halt this unnecessary bank branch closure program." Local communities are making it clear that the closure of their local branch excludes customers who cannot use digital means to conduct their financial transactions. Having returned to profitability, Lloyds needs to stop ignoring its corporate social responsibilities. Underlying the bank branch closures is the fact that they are expensive to run, and banks and building societies are keen to save money. By removing the cost of a branch, including running the premises, employing the staff and maintaining all the machines needed to service customers, banks can save a substantial amount. The sudden wave of announcements on closures could be coincidence, or a cynic might suggest that RBS realized this week would be a good time to break its news, as fellow banking giant Lloyds had also done so. Banks continue to see a substantial shift towards online and mobile banking. Many customers, young and old, are happy to bank from the comfort of their PC, at their desk, sat on the sofa with a tablet, or on the move with their mobile. Many will also tend to avoid the bank branch unless they have to go in. On the flip side, however, is that some customers do not use the internet, prefer to bank in branch, and may need to go into them, for example to pay in cash or checks, or seek assistance. Branch closures hit the most vulnerable hardest, particularly the elderly, and once a bank branch is gone, people may have to travel miles to the nearest one. Paul Wheelhouse, Scottish Government Minister for Business, Innovation, and Energy, said, "The news of further branch closures from RBS will be hugely concerning to many people in Scotland, as it now not only affects, potentially, staff at RBS but also leaves large areas of Scotland, particularly rural areas, with limited branch coverage." The worst impact will be on the most vulnerable members of our society, for many of whom going into a branch is the only feasible way to conduct their banking. Bank branches are also vital for small businesses, as is people's ability to get cash, and critics say that the UK's free cash machine network still has too many black holes. Mike Cherry, Federation of Small Businesses National Chairman, said, "Bank branches are still vital to local economies up and down the country." Many local business communities will be disappointed to hear they are losing their bank branch today. Almost all of our members are using online banking. However, small firms still hugely value the in-person support they receive at branches, particularly when it comes to completing complex transactions and making big financial decisions. For many, these are relationships that have built up over years. In areas of the country still blighted by poor broadband, accessing online banking is a challenge. What's critical is that small business owners that rely on bank branches are provided with suitable alternatives well before closures happen. What we can't have is banks shutting branches on a whim, especially at a time when plans are afoot that may diminish our cash machine network in future. Access to cash is a big issue here. Cash is still critical to trade in thousands of our towns and villages, especially in tourist hotspots and rural areas. More and more small firms are accepting card payments, but that comes with costs they're forced to absorb.